Hey guys, Longman here for another deck profile, and as you can see from the title, we are actually looking at a very strange deck that has come out of BT11. So as of recording, my locals just recently had its pre-release, and looking through all the cards, I was like, okay, cool. Support for some decks I have. All right, cool. All force. All the different decks and stuff. Getting new stuff and whatever. But then I'm like, man, like I really just want a deck that I'll actually legitimately have fun. Just that isn't a tier one deck. It isn't a tier two. It's just it doesn't even like exist in a tier. It's just somewhere in Rogue, and it's like the weirdest deck. And then I was like, oh, cool. And then in my pre release and in my boxes, I pulled foil versions of Sukamon and Etemon. So I'm like, huh, what does this deck do? And I remember how people describe this deck, and it's basically just like a meme troll deck. But at the same time, after reading the effects, the deck is actually really hilariously good because of the previous support that we've gotten before in like was it like BT2, BT3, or actually I think it was BT4. Yeah, no, it's like those sets. They already had some Etemon support and Sukamon support technically, but the fact that it works with the old stuff is hilarious and really funny. And just after testing this deck is just I don't know how to describe it. It's like it's just a poop deck. That's basically the best way to describe it. It's just the poop deck, but a poop deck that can really hurt your opponent because apparently you can use this deck to hurt Black War Greymon X players because you can just turn their big robot like dragon guy into a Sukamon and then just use that, and it's the weirdest thing. But yeah, let's get into the deck so you can see what I'm talking about because just how this deck works is hilarious. First off, since this is a black-yellow deck, we do go with the black base, so we do use the 4 Pagumons. Pagumon's still one of the best black eggs. There's not really that many that can top it still to this day because the fact is that a lot of people do a lot of deletion effects nowadays, and this card netting you an extra search is really cool. And yeah, just really cool. Still a really good card. The fact that we've been using it since BT6 kind of proves how good it is. But yeah, we run 4 of it, and no more, no less. That way, we maintain consistency because this deck does not really have a way to recycle stuff, so you kind of have to go for it. For rookies, we of course running 4 Chikurimon. Mainly, this is just a security bomb. It, so that if your opponent decides to swing in early, this de-digivolves their guy and kind of hurts them a little bit. But yeah, that's basically all it really does. And of course, it's a rookie for Evolution also. Then we're running 4 of the new Chumon from BT11. This guy is really weird. He does cost 1, but the fact is that whenever he evolves into a Sukamon, he reduces the cost, and almost every Sukamon that is printed at the moment is 2. You're basically having a 1-cost evolution, and then if it were to die, you get the effect of the Sukamon and him, so you get to replay a Chumon already in your trash from the searches that you do, and then you get another search off of the Sukamon, which is really nice. Then for the last rookie, we run 2 of the original Chumon. Chumon is still really powerful. I mean, a lot of decks still kind of like to gain memory a lot, and this actually helps stop them. And the fact that it's such a weak card, yet it can stop a lot of really powerful effects is really cool. And of course, one of the Sukamons from I think BT2 or 3, if it dies, it can search the top 3 and play this out. So you basically always have a consistent kind of like it's kind of like a Commandramon thing, but it's not as good yet. For now, it's not that bad, but it's still pretty good so far. Anyway, so we run the 10 rookies, really solid. You basically just run the rat. Then level 4s, we actually run about 12 of them. This deck is actually kind of weird because almost all the level 4s are really low cost. They're like 3 or less. So it is weak to Ultimate Flare, but not that many people really use Ultimate Flare unless you're playing a black deck, and Black War Greymon X never uses it, so you don't really have to worry. So yeah, first we run 4 of the Sukamon from BT3 because on deletion you can reveal the top 3 cards and play a Chumon. And the fact that this card has existed since BT3 and nobody even looked at it until now is pretty hilarious. So I'm going to keep calling it out like that. But yeah, very good card, and the fact that you could evolve it on top of that other Chumon for just 1 cost, and then you just swing in and it dies and you get to play another Chumon, very powerful. Then we run 4 of the new Sukamon. As I mentioned before, I pulled a foil one, and it actually looks really nice. Honestly, like the yellow and black for this look really nice, especially on the numbers here. But yeah, this new Sukamon is pretty cool. Like it also has an on deletion effect. You reveal the top 3 cards, and you add 1 card with Chumon, Sukamon, or Etemon. And of course, it actually has an inherent for once, which is really cool. All turns when this Digimon would be deleted, by deleting one other Digimon with Sukamon, you can prevent the deletion. So by any form of deletion, it prevents it. And it's really cool because there is a way to turn your opponent's Digimon into a Sukamon, so you can use theirs, which is even more hilarious because then imagine they build a giant stack and it just gets turned into a Sukamon of all things. That is like the most humiliating thing I can possibly think of in Digimon at the moment. Then we run 2 Numamons, because Numamon, of course, is a 1-cost evolution, so very cheap. And, of course, he's a 3-cost, so you could just drop him and then play a level, then evolve a level 5 on top, which is really cool. Then the last few we run is 2 of the new Garamon. This guy is treated as Numamon at all times, which is really cool. And then on play, you can trash anything that's Numamon, Sukamon, Nanimon, Entomon, and just draw 2. So this is one of your draw engines, which is really cool. I love how this card works. And of course, just like Numamon is a cheap 3-cost that you could just slap down. And it's basically like the Gabumon for this deck, you know, the old one where you would hard play it and draw 1. Instead, you discard, and it helps fill up your trash to boost stuff. So really cool. Then we run 2 Mechanoris because this deck is lacking in blockers, and occasionally you can lose when you don't have a blocker. So having this is really cool, and there is a way to replay this out, so it's very strong against a lot of Rookie Rush decks still. So you know I like running it, especially because Mechanori I used to run it in security control a lot, so I honestly really love this guy. But yeah, this is all of the level 4s. We run 12 of them, and half of them are poop. So pretty nice. Then for level 5s, we run, of course, 4 of the King Sukamon specifically. He is really cool. First off, he has an alternate evolution thing. Normally, he would cost 4 on any yellow or black, but if he's evolving on top of a Sukamon, he only costs 3, which is really nice. Oh, and then he has an on-play and win Digivolving effect. If your opponent has 16 or more cards in their trash, or if you have 3 or more Sukamon in their names in your trash, you can turn one of your opponent's Digimon into a white Digimon with 3,000 DP and the original name of Sukamon until the end of their turn. And then for attacking, for every single Sukamon on the field, it gains security +1, which is hilarious because it's only a 6,000, so it's obviously gonna die. But the cool thing is that because of the other inherent from that, you can just delete your opponent's Sukamon and then just keep going with that second check, which is awesome. And then of course he also has the same effect, is that when this Digimon would be deleted, by deleting one of your Sukamon, prevent the deletion. So this guy you have to run for. This guy is the king, so of course we have to run him. He is literally the heart and soul of the deck because he stops your opponent's monsters from gaining any of their effects. He also turns them into Sukamon, so you could potentially use their Digimon as fodder. So really cool how it works. Then we run 4 of the other king of the deck, Etemon. This new Etemon is actually it also has different effects compared to the old ones from Black. Yeah, just mainly Black. It first has a alternate Digivolution. You can Digivolve this on top of any Sukamon for 3 costs, just like King Sukamon. And then when Digivolving and on play as well, just like King Sukamon, by trashing 1 card with Sukamon and its name from your hand or in this guy's sources, which is really cool. You can evolve this on top of the Sukamon, trash it, and get the effect of minus 3,000 on your opponent, one of your opponent's Digimon, and it gains security -1. Pretty cool. And then he also has the same effect as King Sukamon, where he can, delete a Sukamon for the this is his inherit specifically, so whoever he evolves into will gain this effect as well. So both of these grant almost the same exact effects, which is really cool. And of course, the fact that he's easily searchable in the deck too. Almost everything in this deck is searchable except for like the Mechanoris and the Chikurimon so far, so really nice. But yeah, we run oh wait, actually I forgot, we still run 1 more level 5. We actually run 9. The ninth one, of course, is the old Etemon that I mentioned. This guy's really cool. He's a blocker, and then on deletion, you reveal the top 5 and play a level 6 Etemon from those 5, and then bottom deck the rest. But the cool thing is that he is a blocker, and he's searchable, and the fact that he helps you play level 6 for free, which is really cool. I only run one right now because of deck space, but I'm thinking of maybe adding in a second one because he's just so good. I really like the old Etemon. It's kind of a shame he didn't really see much play back in the day, but now we finally get to run him, which is really cool. But yeah, we run the 9 level 5s because this deck is nutty, and we need the Etemons and the King Sukamons. For the level 6s, we have kind of a weird mix of them, but it's mainly just 2 specifically. It's Etemon and Venusmon, because as you saw, a lot of the new cards, especially the level 5s, are yellow and black, so you can evolve Venusmon on top and just kind of screw them over and do more minus security, and they can't even swing into it, and even if they de-digivolve it, they just turn it back into the monkey, so it's like, what are they going to do? Because then you're just going to keep evolving in. Anyway, for the first level 6 we run 4 of the Metal Etemon. I'm really happy that I managed to pull a pre-release version of him. He looks really cool as a foil. But yeah, on play and when digivolving, I don't know how this would work, but I think the only way to do the on play effect would be through this Etemon. So the only way to proc this would be to run more copies of him, which kind of sucks. But I mean, you could run 1 or 2. I honestly feel 1 is already fine. But yeah, on play or when digivolving, you can reveal the top 4 cards, and you can play any number of Digimon cards with Chumon, Sukamon, or Etemon in their name up to the total play cost of 7. So you can play 1 Etemon, you can play a Chumon and a Sukamon, you can play like 2 Sukamons. It's just really up in the air depending on your situation. I usually like to play like a Sukamon, like a King Sukamon, because usually that turns their guy into a Sukamon, and if not, when let's say like they don't really have anything big that I need to deal with, I play the other Etemon, so I can give it -1 security, so it can't really check in, which is really cool. But yeah, very solid card. That's really all it does, but the fact that it does it so well, and of course it's a cyborg, which is one of the favorite types on this channel, so of course I have to play this deck. Then we run 2 of the old Metal Etemon from EX1. I haven't really looked at this card since then, but this card is really dumb. It did get an errata way back, but I think the effect is still the same. It's basically, it's still just like when it dies, it de-digivolves something. That's it. That's basically it. And then, of course, for every Etemon in trash, you get a attack boost, which is really cool. I've actually been able to boost this guy up to 16 one time because of that. But aside from that, that's basically all he really does. He's just a really big beat stick, and then maybe some countering if he dies. But with how much digivolving there is in the format at the moment, he's not really as good. So I might actually take him out and replace him with something else. I saw some people running Bahumon or whatever. It's that Sovereign dude, the tiger. He can unsuspend stuff and gain memory off that, so you can make his evolution super cheap. And the fact that he can unsuspend any black Digimon, so you can unsuspend a Metal Etemon and swing again, which is really cool. But so far, this guy's okay, but I might end up honestly taking him out. But for now, he's fine. Then my last level 6, of course, is Venusmon, because Venusmon is really stupid of a card, and being a yellow deck, having yellow in this deck, you might as well play it, because that way you can blindside your opponent. So, really nice card. But yeah, that's all the level 6s we run. We run 7 of them. Very solid number. I see them consistently, and I don't really brick as much, surprisingly, which is really good. Then for level 7s, we run 2 Zwarts. This is the effect I mentioned that can bring back Mechanori. Basically, you evolve it on top of any of your level 6s except for Venusmon. You get to mill the top 3, then play 2 black or purple Digimon with play cost of 8 or less. So basically anything level 5 or lower in this deck. So depending on your situation, like let's say you need a blocker, you summon Etemon, then you summon the other Etemon, or you do Etemon and King Sukamon, so you can turn him in Sukamon and also get a blocker. So it just depends on your situation. And then when you swing, you can just return one of the level 6 and just pop their dude, because it's just a Sukamon at that point. They can't really do anything at that, so it kind of sucks for them at that point, which is really nice. But yeah. That's all we use for level 7s. The rest are options and are 1 tamer, so let's get into it. First, we run 3 Cooties Kick. I don't remember the original Japanese name for this, but I remember it being way cooler than Cooties. But we're gonna call it this for now because I'm not gonna look it up at the moment. But yeah, when you would use this card, if you have a black tamer, you can reduce this down to just 1 cost. It just reduces it by 1, but you know it's still pretty good. Until the end of your opponent's turn, one of your Digimon with Numamon, Sukamon, Nanny, or Endomon can't be blocked and gain on deletion, gain 3 memory. I've actually had situations where I just gave an Endomon like that effect, and then it swings in and it dies, and I gain back the 3 memory, and then I just play another Sukamon, and then I make another Endomon, and then detach the Sukamon and give them -1 security, which is really gross. I don't like how good this card is, even though it's a straight up meme option card, but it's so good. In the security, it actually does a completely different effect, which is really cool. You reveal the top 3 cards, and you can play 1 black Digimon with a play cost of 3 or less among them. So you basically can play any of your level 4s except for like Mechanori and whatever, or your rookies, which is really cool. It's kind of like a prime memory boost, because it also trashes them at the end, which kind of sucks, but it's whatever. Then we run, of course, 2 Prime Memory Boost because Prime Memory Boost is a really good black option card and it's a Memory Boost, so very solid card. And it works really well in this deck because almost all of your lower level guys are all 4 or less, so you basically are guaranteed to get it unless you hit Etemon or you're level 6, but even then you're filling up your trash to set up for different combos with Sukamon. Then for the Tamer, we run 3 black ties because we do have blockers, and this stacking is really gross. I've been able to make Mechanori up to 9,000 with all 3 ties. With 2, it's already an 8,000 blocker that can continuously unsuspend. And with that, like Etemon, you can make it into like an 8 or 9,000 blocker as well, which is really gross. But yeah, that's basically the deck. Originally, I only looked into this deck because I saw, when I pulled the pre-release of this, I saw that it was a cyborg, so I was like, oh, cool, let me look into the deck. And I look it up, and I'm like, oh, wow, this deck is really funny. And then I started testing it, like, and it's just the weirdest deck, but it's so funny how it works. It has security minusing. It turns your opponent into poop. It literally has the cheapest costing level 4s and level 5 evolutions you could possibly get currently. And it has like ways to stop memory gains. It has de-digivolving. It has ways to pop stuff and swarm the board. It has access to Venusmon. I was honestly expecting this deck to be like really bad, but surprisingly, it is hilariously good. I honestly say that this deck deserves a tier 2 spot, maybe a tier 1.5, because almost every meta deck cannot contend with the fact that you turn them into a Sukamon, because every single one protects against option, battle deletion, or just being big and swinging for like, you know, unga bunga like 6 checks, right? But they can't do anything when they become a generic white poop. Okay, it's very hard to get around that, and it's hilarious that it works. That's the dumb part. Like, I highly recommend if you are interested in this deck, check it out. The cards are super cheap to get. The Venusmon is even super cheap to get. Like, just everything in this deck is just dirt cheap to get. So you can't really say no to it because of the price. It is the only thing, honestly, I feel that is slightly expensive is the Zwart, because it is kind of old. It's from BT5, and a lot of those cards are out of print now, so that's mainly the reason. But the fact is that the deck is just so good, and yet it looks like this, and it has like a dude like this made out of golden poop. It's just hilarious how this deck works. And I highly recommend just reject playing OTK tier 1 bullshit, reject that, and return to monkey and poop, okay? Like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you think of this build. And as I mentioned a lot, this is a template for you to use. But anyway, see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.